Taoiseach, we need to be forensic in what went wrong, how you blew £500 million of the public's money on this hospital. £500 million over what was set or was indicated in that contract in February 2017. And I asked Pascal Donoghue in a meeting of the Finance Committee on the 5th of February to provide to that committee detailed account for what the drawings were. How advanced were the drawings when that contract was agreed in February 2017? Because every expert I talked to on the issue said the fatal mistake you made was that you agreed a contract off what was closer to the planning design drawings rather than what anyone would know. The hospital, what you have to have is the detailed equipment and IT. All the most detailed drawings is what you go to get a contract with. And you had a minister, and it was difficult. It's not easy being a minister. You're there learning the ropes. But unfortunately, we had a minister who let go the key rope. And this ship was sailed around for the last 2 years, just adding cost to the Irish taxpayer. And I think we need to be forensic around the political aspect of this. Because I think he was probably going in there and he knows that his predecessor, your good self, said the only reason this hospital wouldn't open in 2020 is if an asteroid hit Ireland. So he may be under a certain amount of pressure to deliver. We know, all of us here, that there were deputies being met every day in the coffee dock down below to lobby, being lobbied to say we should put it to Blanchardstown instead, or to James Connolly. And maybe with threat of judicial review, maybe the pressure was to say, oh God, I better sign this quick to get the deal done. But it was that decision. It was decision to agree a contract, as reported in that day. You agreed a contract at 950, and admitting at that time, well, it might be another couple of $100 million for IT and equipment. When any quantity surveyor, any developer or construction expert of note that I've talked to says that was a fatal mistake, because then every subcontractor and the main contractor has you over a barrel for the additional $500 million that subsequently ensued. So can you give me some sense, to be precise, and besides, I don't want to hear the number of beds and the benefits yakety yak. I want to hear, why did you make, or why did your minister make that decision to issue a contract with more close to planning drawings rather than the drawings that any expert I've heard say you would need to cost any hospital? Why did that happen?
Thanks, Deputy. We are under pressure to deliver this project, but we're not under pressure from each other. We're under pressure from the children of Ireland and the parents of those children who deserve much better healthcare facilities. And I know you have a family, and I'm sure you've been to Crumlin, and I'm sure in particular you've been to Temple Street, and you've seen the fact that we operate our paediatric facilities out of Victorian buildings, and that's something that needs to change. And the pressure that this government feels to deliver this project is out of our concern for parents, for quality paediatric healthcare, and of course for children. It's not correct to say that we've blown £500 million in public money. The money hasn't even been spent yet. We took a decision in December. To go ahead with this project, and there were three options. Having discovered that we underestimated the cost of this project, we had three options. One, to cancel the project and leave 200 or 250 million euros behind us and start all over again, thus potentially deferring the project for a generation. Second, retender, and the best advice was that if we retendered, we wouldn't find anyone who could do it cheaper or do it quicker. And third was to proceed, and we took the decision to proceed, and that is now what we're doing. In relation to the two-phase approach, and you raised some legitimate questions, I believe, about whether the two-phase approach was the right way to go, and that's something we have to look into, inquire into and consider. There are obvious pros and cons with the two-phase approach. The obvious pro is that it's quicker. You can go ahead with the enabling works, the clearing works, the demolition, the underground works. You can get them done, and then at the second stage have the second phase done. An obvious downside is that while you know for sure what the cost of the first phase is, you do not know for sure what the cost of the second phase is. But even when you go for a single phase contract, and the same experts, if you ask them, will tell you this, even if you go for a single phase contract, that doesn't preclude the fact that the developers can come in after the fact with claims. And we see plenty of examples of contracts which were done differently, were done as a single tender, a single price amount, and at the end of the job, the developer came in with additional claims because X, Y or Z was underestimated. So it's not necessarily even the case that had the alternative approach been followed, that we wouldn't have found these additional costs arising anyway. They just wouldn't have crystallised yet. They would have crystallised in 2022 or 2023 in the form of claims after the fact, and that perhaps would have been politically easier to bear and easier to manage, because we could point to the project, we could say it's done, isn't it great, isn't it worth it? But that wasn't the decision that was made.
Ryan.
But I too says that was an amazing decision to give the developer effectively a blank cheque. Second precise forensic question in terms of what went wrong here. It's my understanding that the architects and other professional services companies who worked on the project were on a fixed percentage fee, and that as the costs rose and rose, their fees obviously rose too. I would appreciate if you could confirm if that is the case, and if so, what is the cost to the public? Because the basic architectural work's done in the initial first drawings. When the project goes up 500 million, you're getting whatever, another 10, 20, 30, 40 million. Is that the case? Have you worked out whether that happened? And if so, what was the Department of Public Expenditure and Reform doing? Signing off on a two-phase project where you're giving the developer a blank cheque for any additional costs, and signing off fixed-fee professional fees so that the public was on the hook. As the project got bigger, everyone did well, except for the Irish public.
Deputy, you referred to every expert said this and every expert said that. In this project, the experts were on the board. The experts were the staff. A decision was taken by government, endorsed by these Oireachtas, to establish the National Paediatric Hospital Development Board, a dedicated agency to deliver this project. And the board's a who's who of experts at delivering projects such as this. Mostly people who've done major construction, but a lot of people as well who know about paediatrics and others who know about legals. Put on it people who delivered projects like the Aviva, like Dundrum. These were the experts put in charge, and these were decisions that they made as our agents. But as government, we have to accept responsibility and be accountable for decisions made by our agents, and we do accept responsibility and we do accept accountability for it.